Once again, and welcome to another episode of GhMixMixx. Thank you for making time. My name is Kwesi E, Baako. Today we're going to talk about protesting our leaders and their governors, and I'm going to zero in on something that happened over the weekend in Worcester, USA, that has caught the attention of many people and has sent a lot of criticism around. First of all, let's look at the whole idea of civil disobedience or protests in general, protesting against authority. Is it necessary to do that? Is it a good thing to do? Well, my simple answer is yes, it is. Because leaders sometimes get complacent and they need to be, shaken up a little bit, giving a wake-up call one way or the other. Sometimes presidents are surrounded by sycophants who don't show them what the actual picture on the ground is. And civil disobedience or protests like these actually sometimes get them to see that, whoa, everything is not the way I'm being told, and we need to look at one or two other things. Historically, civil disobedience or protests have made their place. They've made their mark in so many different societies in bringing about change. So, like I said, civil disobedience or protest is a very good thing. However, let's look at how it's done. So many people are asking, should we protest against our leaders abroad? Like when they travel, is it a good thing? Some people call it washing our dirty linen in public. Is it a good thing to do? Why should we paint a bad picture of the country to the outside world? My answer to that also is this. Sometimes that is when the leaders listen. Sometimes the leaders take their people at home for granted because they feel like they're insulated because of whatever, But when they are put in a tight corner like that, in front of a foreign audience and foreign leaders and all of that, then that gets them to sit up and be like, okay, it's time to do something. So my simple answer to that also would be that, yes, it's important to, or it's a good thing actually, to protest outside of Ghana. That said, let's look at the mode of protesting. Most protests are born out of anger, out of people being fed up about a situation. So normally you don't expect them to be civil about it. But still, there needs to be a certain level of civility in doing these things. Is that how we do it as Ghanaians? That is where the real discussion is. And like I said, that is where my reference to Worcester, to the Worcester situation comes in. Let's take a look at different types of protests around the world. How people protest against their leaders. Let's take a quick look.
Fellow Nigerians, we have been disrespected tonight and not given the chance and the respect we deserve by a minister who came late to an event scheduled for 6 p.m. She's coming out about an hour, 30 minutes later, trying to tell us some nonsense about there was delayed in flights. No, we are not going to take this anymore. We have been taking this lying down for a long time. It's been happening since 1960. We are not going to take this anymore. And we refuse.
Wait.
No. We are not going to wait. We are not going to wait. We are not going to wait. Don't advise me. We are not going to wait. We are not going to wait. We are no longer going to wait. We are no longer going to wait. We are no longer going to wait. No, it's a protest.
I understand that. Who's in charge?
All of us.
All you are in charge. May we speak to you in private?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Please follow us, folks, and we'll explain.
It's corruption in Nigeria.
Okay.
These are a bunch of corrupt public officials.
And they've come to the U.S. to waste scarce resources. People are dying in Nigeria.
They killed 20 people
live
last
on
week.
poverty in Nigeria. You're wasting money.
Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Now, the Worcester situation was quite a stunner. You know, I have seen protests in my day. I've covered some as a journalist. I have not seen anyone like that. These guys came out with a public address system, not strange, but the way they protested, the kinds of things they were saying over the address system, the bare-faced insults that they were hurling at the president, leaves a lot to be desired. Yes, we're angry. Yes, we know that things may not be going that well back home, but is the best way to approach that using that kind of language against the president? I don't know. Let's all think about it together, and maybe if you have the comment section, throw in your comments. Let's see where that goes. But it was a very strange situation for me. You know, even stranger was the fact that the president's people also came out with their own public address system and replied the insults. The whole idea of the protest was drowned in these insults because people just threw away why they're really protesting and resorted to just hurling insults at each other. It was very strange.
Papa na wo wura mu no. Se na bi san so ni nia. Papa me life ba. Na wo wura mu no. Woni me. Me pese me che mu ni kaban. Bo wo je do na no. Ipo bi no se ni je do na no. Wo so ye toka. Woni me pa. Wo so toka. Wo wura mu no ni. Why not dai? Akonfo. Why not dai? Akonfo do konfo. Ayi bodem. Ayi no say bodom ka ho. No ma ma konfo ka so kana say because you yes come out. One will grab out the ground. One will grab out. Oh, you're comfort, you are comforted. One will do the ground. I saw that. Message your One district, one number, one factory. This government promised that they go do one factory. Where is the one factory? One district,
Now, it went viral over the weekend, and people were, making all kinds of comments. First of all, I don't know if these guys are NDC guys, but certain people think they are NDC guys, naturally. So they have tagged the NDC with all kinds of names about how they went about the protest. If you ask me, whatever happened there, as messed up as it is, the NPP is equally complicit because of the way they responded. Like I said, I've seen counter-protests, but I haven't seen anyone like this. And I haven't seen one where it boiled down to bare personal attacks. You know, it's like the guy with the megaphone versus the guy with the microphone, and they were just like hurling insults at each other. It was very strange. But back to the point. Some people think it's the NDC these guys were NDC guys, and they've said all manner of things about how terrible it is that NDC people would do something like that. But stick a pin. I remember some years ago, President Obama was the president of the United States, and he called a summit called the African Leaders Summit in Washington, D.C. All the presidents of Africa, save maybe one or two, showed up. Even the ones that are not very friendly with the United States, practically all of them showed up. It was a great platform for protests. So people showed up and really protested. All kinds of, different issues, all protesting. The NPP was in opposition, and I was there to see people that I know are NPP members protest. They came, sang songs. It wasn't as terrible as what we saw in Worcester, by the way. But they protested. They came, they sang their songs, they did everything. They sang one particular song which goes like, Kuma Mamaye, Onyame Kuma Mamaye, kill Mahama for us. So if you're talking about terrible, chickens come home to roost.
Basically, the demonstration is capitalizing on the opportunity in which the President of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has come to the United States of America. We, the Ghanaians here in the United States, believe strongly that the leadership of the John Dramani Mahama is not up to par. He made so many promises when he was coming to power with his manifesto, Idibikeke, and also some other promises that he made. He did mention that Ghana is going to have a stable power supply, and the Dumso is going to be a thing of the past. So far, he has failed the people of Ghana, and he continues to make promises.
Basically, what I am seeing is that President Mahama is lacking, political will to govern Ghana, and that is the fundamental problem. A lot of things are going haywire, but he is not able to stamp his feet on the ground and crack the whip to make sure that things fall in line.
All the loans he's been getting is useless. There's no infrastructure going on in our country right now. He got over $30,000 billion US dollars. And see what he ordered? He bought sanitary pads. For what?
Let's bring it further down. President Mahama visited London some time ago. And another group of people who I cannot vouch are MPP guys, but people think are MPP guys, showed up and embarrassed the president. Embarrassed, okay? Because remember, I've already endorsed protests. But they showed up and showed their bare backsides to the president, singing and chanting all kinds of things at him.
Oh, sir, already know Yadika Kahwasem Bebre. You say about corruption and then incompetence. Concern Ghanaians in Germany, and our organizing. Maybe free Ghana by, and I'm
all the way from Ghana.
Maybe since October. But Omoya and then I have to join them because I'm also a concerned Ghanaian. At you should lower President Mahama and DC government to the tune of 27 billion. Not signature projects showing in the budget is only 3.5 billion. Siganin Gayanwahi. Huh? Yesika, Abusiafo, Akpaya families and chronics. Obi Yesikani a Chinogra Yampanishino.
Let's bring it further down again. The United Nations General Assembly here in New York. President Mahama was coming. Another group, some of who I had seen in Washington, showed up again to protest the president. Sang their songs again, did everything. So how is it that when President Mahama was in office, it was okay to protest, and then now that a different government is in office, it's not okay to protest? People have short-circuited memories. You know, why can we accept that it's okay for people to protest when President Mahama was in office, and all of a sudden it becomes the worst thing ever to protest when President Nana Addo is in office? I am not saying it was okay what happened in Worcester. It was terrible. I've said it several times because of how it was done. Otherwise, it was a legitimate exercise that people, Ghanaians, who felt like they had been shortchanged on certain issues, can't show up and make their grievances heard. How it happened, however, the kind of language that was used, the way it got watered down to personal attacks was terrible. And I just want to remind the people who are saying that it was a terrible thing, period, to remember that President Mahama also suffered a lot of these things. Protest every time he moved out of Ghana. Chickens come home to roost, people. Chickens come home to roost. Goes around, comes around. One day is this president, another day is another president. People will do these things. Let us all agree that it's okay to protest, but let's be civil about it. And let us not start saying all kinds of things because now it's our government in office and someone is protesting. It is okay to protest. It is okay to protest. But, like I've said a zillion times already, let us do it with some civility. And for crying out loud, good for goose, good for gander. So guys, live with it. If you don't want to be protested, don't protest. If you want to be protested, which is a good thing, by all means, be ready to be protested. Okay? If you live in a glass house, you can see through the glass walls. Please don't throw stones. My name is Kwesi E, son Baako. I come in peace, but I come not to please. I'll see you next time with another episode of GhMixMixx. This week's episode of GhMixMixx is brought to you by Threadlocks Dreadwear and Roots Cuisine. Roots Cuisine is the only all-vegan vegetarian restaurant in the Kumasi metropolis, and it opened to clients on Monday 25th, 2019. Locate Roots Cuisine on the Adiembra Atasomanso Road, 200 meters from the DBS showroom. Walk in for a hot, healthy, vegan meal.